Hello, welcome to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if it's your first time, welcome. Okay. If you like the things I talk about, I kind of strayed a little bit. I like to present all the evidence that uh, shows me that there is indeed a God that exists. But I kind of got sidetracked with this Chris Watts um, story. And I know that last video, I said I'm not going to make, let's let it go. And then here I am. It shows up on my feed, and it just like it infuriated me. And I thought, okay, I'm going to be a hypocrite. How about one more? And why I got so upset was, like I said, it's 4 years since that horrible murder happened, and it's showing up on my feed. Uh, and The thing that angered me was, I guess he has a lot of supporters um, in prison, and what really ticked me off was he gets a lot of love letters. Okay, and I thought, oh, you know. And so this video would be directed more toward the people that thinks that he's the victim. Okay. Now, first thing I want to say is this, and I was listening to the interview with the CBI and FBI agents that went out to talk to him in prison, and he has no defensive wounds on him. And so they said, "Why is that so?" And he said that, I don't know. Maybe she was praying, saying, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." Oh, that infuriated me. That just infuriated me. Um, and so I thought, okay. But anyways, one thing I thought about: why doesn't he have defensive wounds? Now, many of you may know that I'm a retired paramedic, and I've seen my share of dead bodies, and I've seen my share of shock victims, okay? And one thing that is very common with strangulation and shock from blood loss is no oxygen, okay? And when they reach a point where they're oxygen starved, they get very anxious. So for him to say, oh, well, she wasn't fighting, I don't believe that. And so I thought about it. Why doesn't he have defensive wounds? Then I hear him say that I guess whenever he went upstairs, she was on her stomach sleeping, and I thought, that's it, that's it. That's why he doesn't have any wounds. Now this is my opinion, okay, my opinion, but it seems reasonable that he doesn't have any wounds on him because he climbed on top of her while she was face down, and then kind of locked her like this and choked her. So he had no wounds because she really couldn't fight, and he's a strong dude. Okay, so I I find that a reasonable explanation. But like I said, it's my opinion. Okay, now his children. He had made the comment, or it was suggested, or whatever, that the children were not buried with Shanann because, well, she killed him, and uh, she didn't deserve to have them buried with her. And I thought, what a load of malarkey that is. The reason why the kids were in the sludge tanks and Shanann was buried elsewhere was because she wasn't going to fit in the tanks. Because I'll bet you that if she was able to fit into the tanks, that's where she would have been too. Okay? And it would have been a long time if he wouldn't have cracked. It would have been a long time before they would have found her. So, um, so no, they were not buried together because she could not be buried with them. And he says that, oh, I love them so much. I love those are my kids. I love them, my babies. I help make them and all that. But if they were killed and he didn't do it, wouldn't it make more sense that he wouldn't want to dump them in a sludge tank? That he would want to bury them in a more dignified manner? Okay, doesn't that make more sense? But he was just so hell bent on, hurry up, hide the bodies, and okay. So that doesn't make sense. Um, that that doesn't make sense to me. Now, he bit. Now, whenever they were interrogating him, finally they were getting nowhere, and I know why they did. I think I know why they did it, and I hated for them to have to do it. But they says, did she do something? And you're trying to cover for her. They were kind of giving him a lifeline, and I think, my opinion, why they were doing that was they wanted to hurry up and get him in custody before he can alter any scenes, before he can move anybody, before he can do whatever. They had to get him in custody. Okay, so they suggested that. And doesn't it seem funny that all of a sudden, they tell him that, and that's what he bites on right away. Oh yeah, and he tells his dad, and he said, oh, he went upstairs and she was on top. I forget which one he said she was on top of, and they were blue. Now, no, that's not true because if she was still on top of the one that she had either just killed or was in the progress of killing, she wouldn't have been blue yet. Okay, so that's a lie. So, anyways, but like I says, and please keep in mind, and I got to keep saying this, it's my opinion. Okay, that's my opinion. This is what I think. Now, if you watched the when the cops showed up at his house the first time, when he was over at the neighbor's house that had the video camera, okay, and did you watch him over at his house? He was like an ostrich. He kept his head down in his phone. And I say like an ostrich because he must have thought, well, if I can't see them, they can't see me. Okay. And then whenever he was over at the neighbor's house, he just looked panicked whenever it showed his truck backing up. Okay. And you have to wonder, why couldn't he act more convincing? My opinion is this: I study my Bible every day, okay? Some of you may not be believers, but I study my Bible every day. And there was a scripture that says that I will write my laws on their heart and on their minds. And I think that is the reason why Chris Watts could not even act remotely believable in his innocence, okay? Because he couldn't. That was just something that God would not allow, okay? So he was pre programmed for that. Uh, Again, that's my opinion. But, and lastly, did he find God? Oh, I hope he truly found God. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear any audio or anything from him recently. But just going on what I heard before, I would say I'm not convinced that he did. I'm not convinced because it almost sounded like he was bargaining with himself. He says, well, in my devotions today. Now, listen, you can read scripture and you can pretty much apply it to yourself, okay? Whether it means that or not. And he was talking about in his devotion, he was talking about the poisonous tree and all this stuff. And so that told him that, God told me that, he has a plan for me. And this part got me, a plan for me to be in prison right now. Okay, so in other words, I know I did a no-no and I deserve to be in prison right now, but not for the rest of my life. And he says, well, he wants me on the outside. And it just sounds to me that he was just using the God trump card. Okay, and that's what it seems like to me. So, no, I'm not convinced. I am not convinced at all. So, anyways, I'm sorry. I wanted my next video to be to resume what I like to talk about. Um, but whenever I heard about the girlfriends, oh, and I thought about that, the girlfriends, love letters. Ted Bundy, the serial killer, he killed over 30 women, and he was married in prison. And I often thought about that, and I know that some nincompoop would want to marry Chris. And I thought, why? I mean, really, why? Number one, it's not a marriage. It's really not, in a traditional sense. So why is that? And one morning, it kind of hit me. You know, I thought, like I said, my opinion, but it kind of hit me, and I thought that would be a way of the woman climbing that mountain, marrying that bad boy, having her cake and eat it too. And what I mean by that is she climbed that Chris Watts mountain and she made it to the top, but she's 100% safe because he's locked up. He can't come home and kill her too. So I don't know. But that's what makes sense to me. Okay. So, anyways, you know, I don't know. It's tragic. It's tragic. Okay. And I think the reason why bad things happen is we don't have God. We've kicked him out of school. We've kicked him out of public places. We've kicked him out of everywhere. And look where we're going. And for the people that say there can't be a God because, whoa, there's so much evil in the world, who's doing the evil? Why are we blaming God for Chris Watts's crime? Okay? And if commandments were followed, and the two commandments that Christ gave us, love God with everything you have, and then love your neighbor as yourself, if we would follow just those two, there wouldn't be any problems in the world today. So, anyways, okay, well, that's all. I just had to rant one more time. Hopefully, one more time, unless something else comes along and ticks me off. Um, so, in the meantime, please take care of yourself. Please stay safe. And most importantly, love your neighbor, love one another as Christ loved you. Okay, thank you, and have a good day, and God bless you.